Greetings, beloved Princeton United Methodist Church community. It's Pastor Jenny here, and I'm reading today from Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. This is the word of life. Thanks be to God. Well, January 6th is Epiphany, the day of Epiphany, and Sunday, January 7th, we are going to be celebrating Epiphany Sunday together. This, of course, is the day that we celebrate the coming of the Magi to visit the very young Jesus, and this lovely story that we get from Matthew. What I just read, of course, is not from that, but it certainly connects to it. Epiphany, the whole season of Epiphany, is the season of light, the season of awareness, the season of how that we celebrate the ways that the incarnation, the presence of God, is made known to all of humankind, all of the world. An epiphany, when we have an epiphany, it is an idea, something becomes known to us, a revelation has happened. Something dawns on us that we didn't know before, we didn't realize before, we didn't put together before. I always think about that, like in the cartoons, that light bulb pops up in the little bubble beside a person, and so Epiphany is all about this glorious kind of light, this illumination that happens, and I love it. I think it's such a beautiful image. I think it's such a powerful thing to know that God is continuing to reveal God's self to us, in us, through us, even to others as well. So we are going to celebrate this on Sunday. For those of you who actually follow the lectionary and the liturgical calendar on your own, you might also realize that that because of the way the secular calendar falls, the one that we use on our day-to-day calendars, it actually makes it hard to celebrate both Epiphany Sunday and Baptism of the Lord, which will be the next Sunday. But we're going to do both because I just think that it's such an important thing. I don't want to skip over either of these important stories or parts of Jesus' early life. So this Sunday we'll celebrate Epiphany Sunday. Baptism of the Lord Sunday will be the following Sunday. This Sunday, you are invited to bring your star words. So if you were with us last Epiphany, the first, which actually I believe we celebrated this on January 1st last year, so the very beginning of 2023, you would have gotten a star word if you were in worship with us that day in person, and we were happy to send them out to any of you who wanted them for our remote worshipers. And so we will be doing the same thing. Now, some of you resonated with your star word, kept your star word. It's still sitting in a place where you can find it easily. Not all of you did that. Totally fine. Not all of you got one. Some of you don't even have any idea what I'm talking about. Any of those things is just fine. But if you do have your star word, or you still remember what your star word was, then I invite you to bring it with you to worship on Sunday, or however you come to worship, whenever you do. We will be having an opportunity to reflect on what our words for last year meant, if you had one, and if it meant anything to you. But we will also have the opportunity to get new star words for this year. Again, you'll hear more about this in Sunday's worship service, about what this is for and why, but the basic idea is that it allows us, it's an invitation to let God speak to us and work in us through a particular word that we put on a star. This is not something I made up. This is a tradition that happens in some places. Maybe you've seen it. And this last year was the first year that we've done this here. And so, but we wanted to try it again. I have heard from some of you that this was a really powerful thing to have a word that continued to speak to you. God continued to speak through this word in particular, challenging you, affirming you, encouraging you in different ways through the year. You can see mine is health there. So bring your old star word if you have one. and I've also talked to people who weren't sure what their star word was, but they also remember the impact of getting it. So there's a variety of ways that this could have worked in your life. Also, maybe you weren't part of that or didn't have any interest in that a year ago, but maybe there's still been a theme for you for this past year, or something that you want to reflect on, a way that God has been illuminating your life, working in you somehow over this past year. So I encourage you, as we approach Epiphany, the day of Epiphany, the Sunday of Epiphany, to ask that very question. How has God been revealing God's self to you? How has God been illuminating something in your life, in your spirit, in our world, for you over this past days, weeks, months, year? And we'll celebrate more on Sunday. I also want to share with you that a huge thank you. So we have gotten the end of year offering and budget reports, and we did come very, 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 very close, just slightly under our goal for this year, budget-wise, which still involved having a deficit. So we planned to from the beginning of 2023, we knew that we would be including a deficit in our budget, and that's still with all that amazing fundraising, all that an enormous amount of giving that you all did over these past, especially month, but 6 months. It's been such a beautiful, heartwarming thing to see. And part of the leadership board's goal is to have a balanced budget in 2024. So that is part of the work that's still ahead of us, but I wanted to thank you for the gifts and the giving, the incredible generosity that we have seen over this past year. So thank you very much for that. Also know that, so on January 14th, that is our Baptism of the Lord Sunday, and that is a day that we're going to be remembering our baptisms and participating in a renewal of that during worship too. So I encourage you to think about what you know about your baptism, what you remember in actual memories, but also what you don't actually remember, but the stories that you have been told or the way that it lives in your own heart and mind. On the 21st of January, we will start a newcomers group. And so if you know somebody who's newer to the church or somebody you want to invite to the church, let them know that we are starting a newcomers group, a welcome party for these next few weeks as a way of helping people know what our church is all about and how they might be able to find a place and find connection with other people, learn more about what it is to be United Methodist, these variety of things too. So lots of things going on. There's a new small group that's happening just for Epiphany season. This for a 4-week group that's going to be starting to meet on Sunday mornings in a couple of weeks. Look for information about that. Many things going on. Find a way to get connected and engage in your discipleship and in the life of this beautiful, beloved community. Many blessings to you. It is such a joy to begin a new year with you and to be on this journey with you. It is always a good thing, a blessing to me to get to be on this journey with you. Remember that you are enough because God is enough, and we are created for joy.